It is the Happy Camper Radio Show, episode 273. Happy New Year to each and everybody, and Happy New Year, Daniel.
Hey, we made it.
Here we go into 2024. And wow, what a difference. Look at yourself. Yeah, 4K resolution for the first time.
Yikes.
Yeah, we've been retrofitting the studios over the holidays and getting out the old cameras and getting rid of them and bringing in the new ones. But on today's show, Daniel, I want to talk about preparations for the 2024 camping season.
All right.
I know I've got a lot of things in store. And considering how ugly the weather is right now, I think a lot of folks out there are probably considering doing the same.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it today on episode 273 of the Happy Camper Radio. Thank you for being with us.
Happy Camper Radio.
And, of course, the Happy Camper Radio Show is happy all the time because we're on all the major podcast directories. And you can find one. Just go to any one, and chances are you're going to find Happy Camper Radio right there.
Just
plug us into the search engine, and that's where you'll find us. And of course, we're on the web. You can find us there 24/7 at www.happycamperradio.com. A lot of good camping tips. And if you want to listen to any one of our previous episodes dating back to 2013, day number 1, you can choose them right there. Just go right down the list, and you can find any one of our previous Happy Camper episodes. And Daniel, wow, we've had a lot of fun doing these.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
I've been scared to watch those. I don't know. It's just crazy how long we've been doing this and how much things have, changed over the years.
Well, Daniel, I don't think you've aged any.
I wish.
Me, on the other hand, well, yeah, that's a totally different story we're not going to get into. But, check us out at happycamperradio.com. We're on Facebook, too, at facebook.com/Happy Camper Radio. It took me a minute to think about there.
Yep.
Okay. But, that's where it's at. Just look for it right down here, and you'll see it. Okay? And follow us on X.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, check out there. And, and by all means, now, of all times, you want to check out our YouTube channel in 4K.
Ooh.
All right? Find us on YouTube. Just look for Happy Camper Radio.
Hopefully you have a fast connection.
Today at episode 273. Daniel, I got the opportunity to talk to my brother yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was making a trip to visit our cousin over in Ohio. And they just got hit with a nasty snowstorm up there in the Northeast.
Ugh.
I think they're dealing with a couple of feet of snow.
Ugh.
And, of course, I've heard about this on the news over the past week, and I know it wasn't going to have any effect on us. Of course,
thank goodness.
We've had our fair share of rain down here. And,
I'll do rain all day. No snow.
Now, wait a minute. Now,
oh, boy.
All right, we're not going to talk about rain because rain ruined my primitive lifestyle of camping. It did. Okay? So let's not talk too much about rain.
Right.
But, it's the fact is right now, no matter where you live, I think, unless you're out in California or down in Florida, and then, the weather's going to be pretty decent down there. But, anywhere else, it's having some limitations on what we can do for camping. For example, the recreation.gov sites, just a lot of them are all shut down right now. And, wow, I enjoy those. I enjoy recreation.gov because you get a great rate, especially, when you're up there in your senior citizen years. Okay. And the campgrounds are beautiful. But, you can't really do too much right now unless you want to go out to like the state parks, which here in Georgia, for example, I mean, they're open year round.
Right.
You can go just about anywhere, but you're still dealing with cold weather. And not too many people want to go camping in the cold weather.
Well, they have a lot of cabins at KOAs and stuff like that, and a lot of people like in this part of the country, they like to go to like Gatlinburg and stuff to rent a cabin over the weekend and stuff, stuff like that.
Well, cabins are okay. I really don't want to say that's camping, okay, because I've stayed in a cabin before. Somebody else rented it. I just happened to be there and tag along with them.
Yeah.
But you've got all the comforts of home in there.
You do.
You've got.
So do you in the
you got
RV.
A fireplace.
In the RV.
Yeah. You got a fireplace in there. You got a full service kitchen. You got a shower and everything. Granted, I've got that in the RV too. But that's not staying in a cabin.
I agree, but it's you're more cut off from the world. You're in the wilderness. You're in the middle because like a few years ago, we would do a thing with a couple of friends of ours, and we'd go to a cabin in the woods up in Blue Ridge, and we had everything in the cabin, but you also got to, if you wanted to take a hike, or you could like sit in the hot tub or whatever and look at the views of nature and stuff. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not camping, but you're getting out there in the wilderness and you're relaxing, you're decompressing, and I mean, you can do what you got to do,
Well, to each his own, but for me, Daniel, that's a little costly.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And of course, me being a single guy and I'm by myself, yeah, of course, I love having Sadie around, but I also like to have somebody to talk to.
Oh, yeah,
so,
definitely.
I don't have that problem, it seems, though, when I'm sitting out on my patio, when I got not regardless of what time of the day it is, as long as it's not raining, all right, but I can sit out there looking over the lake, and wow, I could stay there for weeks at a time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, it's just like one of these situations right now. If you're not going to go stay in a cabin, you don't have a good amount of firewood sitting on the patio because you're going to be needing that this time of year. Pretty much camping is on hold for a lot of folks.
Well, I mean, if you have the right setup or materials or whatever, like, next month, me and Gary were thinking about maybe doing a short camping trip, but like, as long as you have, a good sleeping bag, a good padding underneath, so you're not so cold from the floor of the ground, and you get a fire. I mean, you can deal with it. I mean, there are things you can do. I mean, people camp in the middle of the Arctic. I was just watching a video the other day on TikTok about these people in these tents, literally in Antarctica. I mean, it's technically summer down there, and it never gets dark, but they're in these, very, very insulated tents, and, they're scientists down there doing experiments and stuff, and they're camping in Antarctica. So, I mean, as long as you have the right equipment, I mean, you can camp anytime you want. The thing about it is, like, most of the tents you buy for, like, hiking and stuff, they're usually 3-season tents. But they also make 4-season tents for the wintertime. And, if you're into that kind of stuff, then, yeah, by all means. And we were talking about this earlier, how, when you go hiking or you like to do camping or whatever, maybe when you start off, you buy not the greatest stuff in the world. Maybe you buy the mid-tier kind of...
That's me.
Yeah, the mid-tier stuff, like the Coleman stuff.
Right.
And maybe you want to bump it up to like Big Agnes is a big name brand for really nice gear. And so what do you do with that old stuff? I mean, do you give it to someone else? Do you sell it on eBay? I mean, there's a lot of things you can do if you want to expose someone else to camping. I mean, there's a Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. But like for me right now, I'm trying to update my my sleeping bag. It's a down sleeping bag, but it's not like a goose down. It's like synthetic down, and goose down is lighter. And in the hiking community, it's all about weight. How much does this weigh? How much does that weigh? Because you're always carrying it all the time. So, you want to see what you can do to with your old stuff so you can get new stuff, because you don't want, 5 sleeping bags. I mean, some people do, but, I was thinking about giving my sleeping bag to a buddy of mine who's just getting into it, and, seeing how he enjoys, getting into this world. But there's a lot of things you can do, and there's always tinkering and just trying to figure out the best way to do your kit or whatever. You always want to fine tune it over the years.
Well, Daniel, as far as I'm concerned, when I gave up primitive camping following our little journey down to FDR State Park. If I had a tent that was worth donating, I would find a family with kids.
Yep.
All right. Because you can't put a price tag on that. You know, if you donate your old equipment to somebody in need who just cannot afford to actually get into the camping business right now, all right, or the camping recreation, all right, yeah, if you can donate your old equipment to them, wow, that to me is very rewarding. But in my particular case, after leaving FDR State Park, my tent was so ruined and so destroyed it went in the dumpster. Okay, so that didn't work there. Now, as far as keeping yourself warm, because you were talking about people doing research out in the Antarctica, all right, I still have my Mr. Buddy heater.
Yeah,
I did not get rid of that. I am not going to get rid of it because that can come in handy just about anywhere.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, you know, and if you're going to be crazy enough, and I've been out there in the cold weather before, and that heaters come in handy. Yeah, I would recommend anybody that's going to go ahead and do some winter camping, unless they got an expensive sleeping bag like you have, okay, I'm sure it keeps you warm.
The heater is a good idea because, I know you go to a place with a couple of buddies of yours in the, national forest or whatever, and I think a lot of people, and I didn't really know this myself, is like when you go in the national forest, there's a lot of primitive camping, and it's free.
Right.
I mean, you just go there, you walk into the site, and set up, and it's free. I mean, so as long as no one's there, I mean, as long as you have your gear and stuff, I mean, like you could bring your, all your gear, and if it's only like, maybe a half mile or mile hike in, I mean, you could bring all the luxuries you want.
Sure. Okay.
And a lot of people do that. I've seen them too.
Yeah, but as far as, like backpacking, like you and Gary go on, I can understand why you got to pack light.
Yeah.
Okay. But, I tell you, the Mr. Buddy heater for the wintertime camping when I was doing primitive camp, that, Daniel, was that was a lifesaver.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably one of the best camping investments I had ever made. All right. And, of course, with me, you got to have a lot of food.
Oh, yeah.
So, and of course, that's what I want to talk about today on the show is, with the fact that right now, a lot of folks aren't camping because of the weather, because of the season, because of the fact that places like the recreation.gov campsites are shut down and probably won't be opening up till March or April. All right. Yeah, now will be a great time to actually do your inventory, do your annual inventory to see what you have. And that serves two purposes right there. Number one, it makes sure that you have everything you need when you go out the door to go camping, okay? And it also, number two, just as important, it keeps that camping spirit built up.
And I was thinking this is the best time, because I think a few years ago we went to the RV show around this time, and, in the off season is the best time to look for a trailer because no one's camping, and there might be people out there that want to get rid of their trailer. And, I feel like this is the best time to do it because if you try to look for a camper or RV or whatever, in prime time, they're going to, jack up the price and be like, oh, it's this much because you can use it right away. But if you want to buy a trailer right now, maybe you can't use it right now, but you might be able to get a deal.
Sure. And of course, you've got all this time as well that if you do happen to pick up a good used RV and you bring it on home, and it needs a little bit of work, you've got time to work on it.
Yeah.
All right.
How's that refrigerator coming?
The refrigerator hasn't walked.
Okay.
It's still there.
All right.
But I know you want I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, Danny. When it comes time for me to work on that, I'm going to bring you over. I'm going to give you one of the YouTube cameras, or the GoPro cameras,
right? And
have you film me taking that refrigerator out,
nice,
and showing the shoddy workmanship that was done in putting that thing in. Oh, boy. Okay. And
you're going to get a earful at the rally if you keep saying that.
That's okay. Daniel, I have always believed, if you're going to do something, do it right.
Yes, sir.
And, and this way you don't have to do it again. I can understand, even the best RV manufacturers out there have an assembly line.
Yep.
Okay. And things can go wrong. All right. And if this is all that went wrong with my RV when I bought it, I'm not complaining.
Yep.
Okay. Because I do have a little bit of handyman abilities.
Oh, yeah,
that I can actually
definitely.
get in there and fix things. And I've got the tools to fix things.
Yes,
and you
you
know
do.
that better than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, this time of the year, I like to really get in there and see exactly what I need. And folks, I can't tell you how important this is. And this is coming from somebody who has been camping for a very, very long time. All right. You know, you'd forget one thing, just one thing, when you're out on a camping trip that you should have packed away before you left is going to cause you to make a trip to the hardware store.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Or to Walmart.
Yep.
You know, now maybe you don't mind leaving camp. You know, maybe you're an on-the-go person like Daniel and his wife.
Yes,
All
sir.
right? But, you know, I look back at our trip down to FDR State Park when you needed to get a couple lawn chairs or something like that. And you went to a local Walmart. Of course, you know, down there, the local Walmart was like 30 miles away.
It was far. I think it was in Alabama.
Now, maybe that
actually.
didn't bother you.
No.
All right. For me, no. If I had to leave the park entrance, that would bother me.
Okay.
Okay. But, you know, my visit was very, very short down there. You know, the only thing good came out of that was breakfast in the morning and running into you in
That
danger.
was good.
Yeah. So, but, yeah, I try to make it a point, and I do have an inventory list. Now, some folks, you know, you just automatically know what you have. Okay. And maybe you have a wish list. Maybe there's some things you want to add to your particular camping supply. All right, so this will be the great time to do that. Back when I was primitive camping, when I was your next door neighbor, I had a nice shed built behind that property.
You did.
Okay, and I had a lot of room in there. And
did.
I carried everything in plastic totes, and everything was very organized.
Yes.
And a couple times a year, Daniel, I would go back there when the weather was nice and I had nothing to do. And this happened especially at the first part of the year before, you know, camping season really kicked into gear, is I would, you know, pull every one of those totes down off the rafter, okay, put them out on the floor, open each one, and I would take everything out piece by piece by piece and lay it out. And I would sit there and I would look at it. And I would say, what am I missing? What can I add? What can enhance this next camping trip I'm going to go on?
Yeah.
I don't think I really took too much
No,
of
you
anything
don't take
out.
anything out.
No, because everything, Daniel, everything that I had, I used. Okay? Now, I may not have used it on a particular camping trip, but the fact remains I had it, whatever that item may be. Okay? And by the fact that I had it, you know, I didn't have to go out anywhere. I would hate, Daniel, if I had to go to my next door neighbor who is camping next to me and ask them to borrow a bottle opener.
Yeah.
That would bother me. If I had to borrow a can opener, okay, yeah, that would bother me.
You try to figure out how to do it. Like that's kind of the excitement of it. Like that's the roughing it part of camping. You know, they always talk about, well, if you don't have it, you know, you just figure out how to live without it. But another thing I was thinking about is like, if you're just getting a kit together or fine tuning your kit, I know I'm a big Pinterest person, and they've got all kinds of lists for people for camping and RVing and backpacking and stuff. So I would probably, you know, take a look at that and see what kind of list other people have done, and, you know, try to make your list based on that. I think that's pretty.
Now, you know my style of camping. All right?
Yep,
And
everything
that was,
and the kitchen sink.
okay, yeah, and I either put it in the back of the truck or I tow it around with me in a trailer. And I'm going back in the days that I will never live again. All right, but I'm just wondering how does it work out for you as a backpacker? I know you can't bring everything. You bring the basics. All right. Do you ever get out there on a backpacking trip and say, "Wow, I wish I had brought this along too"?
No, I mean, most of the time I bring stuff that I didn't really need because, you know, I mean, it's just in case kind of stuff like a first aid kit or whatever. And, you know, you should probably always have that, but I never use it. So it's like most of the time I bring everything I have and everything I need. And if I don't have it, you know, I just learn to live without it, you know?
Right.
And so, you know, I mean, it's basically a weight issue. Like, is it worth it to do this? Is it worth it to take this? is it worth it for this luxury? Because that's what they call it when you're hiking. They call it luxury items. And, is it worth it to have this much more weight on your back to have a little bit of luxury in your kit or whatever?
I learned a lot about that when we went up to that seminar up in the North Georgia mountains. It was the Appalachian Trail kickoff, and I got to sit on a lot of those conventions or wherever your conferences. Yeah. Yep. And I mean, everybody was talking about packing light and the importance of doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure that there's things that you would like to bring in a situation for backpacking. There are things you can't bring. Okay. For me, on the other hand, I mean, my truck is always close by, and everything just comes off the truck, and we get set up, and we're good to go.
So like for instance, like one of the new things in my my backpacking kit is I've got like a little tiny inflator for my sleeping pad. And, I think that's a good idea because like once I get to camp, like I'm blowing up this sleeping pad and like I'm getting lightheaded and everything. And, it takes forever. And so I bought this little inflator. And the good thing about that is it's not getting my spittle or whatever into the thing. So it could mold up and everything. And it's, it's doing the work for me. I mean, it weighs a couple more ounces, but I mean, I think it's worth it, but some people don't. So, it's just all about, the preferences you want, know?
Yeah. But, again, Daniel, this particular time of the year, and I think we talk about this just about the kickoff of every season that we get into is making sure that you do those preparations, make sure that you have everything you need. For a guy like myself, it doesn't take much. For you and Deidre, it's just you two. But, we're also talking about folks out there who've got maybe a family of 4 or 5. So you're bringing a whole lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And what your kids may need is something that maybe you as a grown adult may not need. But it's just as important to bring those things along. Okay. And, again, it's just something added to the list. But I would always prefer being organized, having what you need to take to camp so you don't have to run out to Walmart, so you don't have to run out to the camping supply store because you forgot something. Okay? That inventory is so very important. And this time of the year, Daniel, is a great time to do it. It's time now for our featured campground of the week, and that's right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
Daniel, you want to know where it's probably pretty warm right now, where there's a lot of camping going on?
Arizona?
Arizona. How did you guess? Yeah. I'll tell you what.
It's either that or New Mexico. So,
well, I'll tell you, here is a great campground, Daniel. If you want to venture out to Arizona and you don't mind those high elevations.
Yeah, they'll get to you.
Yeah. Here's one called the Christopher Creek Campground. It's actually in the Tonto National Forest with an elevation over a mile high. Whew. Christopher Creek Campground offers crisp, fresh air and vibrant views that are a joy to behold. The facility is tucked along the banks of the spring-fed Christopher Creek, which passes just below Mogollon Riv. I think I pronounced that right. But this is a great campground, Daniel. It's a family-friendly campground. It has 43 sites on both sides of the creek, plus a group site that can accommodate a maximum of 25 people. They offer 37 campsites that are reservable, 3 sites which are available on a first-come, first-served, customer-served basis, with payment complete using an on-site fee machine. I never heard of one of those.
Okay,
but hey, if they're out there, go ahead and use them. I wonder if they take credit cards. But no, I think they do here. All right. But check out a lot of the information. I'm going to have a link to it all week long on happycamperradio.com. Christopher Creek provides a creekside dwelling in Tonto National Forest at the base of the Mogollon Rim. I think I pronounced it right that time, Daniel. Okay, but the site surround a ponderosa pine forest, junipers, oaks, and manzilta evergreen shrubs. So, check it out. A lot of information is right there on the website. And always be sure to scroll down to the bottom of the page, too, because that's where they have the need-to-know items. And there's quite a few of them on there. No firewood is available for purchase at the campsite, so you got to plan to buy your firewood early, okay? And be sure to note don'tmovefirewood.org. Okay, that's a great website to visit. A lot of useful information there. You want to prevent the spread of tree-killing pests by purchasing your firewood locally and burning it on site. We have a link to it also on Happy Camper Radio. It's don'tmovefirewood.com or .org. But hey, Daniel, this is a great place to go camping if you don't mind the high elevations. I've been out there. It's a little tough on me, a little tough on the sinuses. So I don't know if I'll be going back again. But if I can put that beside me, and I go out to Arizona, this is a great campground to consider. It is the Christopher Creek Campground, and it is our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip and Daniel. HappyCamperRadio.com.
And as always, if you have a campground you'd like for us to feature on the program, you can get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at HappyCamperRadio.com, or this guy here in 4K.
Hey, Daniel at HappyCamperRadio.com.
And by all means, if you have a campground you'd like for us to feature, definitely get in touch with us and make sure you include a link to the campground's website. Well, Daniel, I'll tell you what, I am out of wind.
Yeah.
Okay, I did a lot of talking. We were out in the other room here just chatting before we actually did the show, and we finally get in here. Say, come on, let's get in here and do it. Let's knock this thing out. And I haven't seen it in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I know the holidays have kept both of us busy. And, I've got a lot to do. I've got a lot of things to do this week, and I'll be thinking about our next episode.
Oh, yeah.
Right here in the studio of Happy Camper Radio. And, Daniel, I love the idea that we went 4K.
Woohoo!
Yeah. We took out the old equipment and brought the new one in, and I tell you, it took a little bit of time to actually get the studio retrofitted for 4K.
Okay.
But I think it's going to look good. I can't wait to get this show published and put it out there for the whole world to see. Yeah. But, hey, make sure you take care of yourself. Go back and start doing your inventory, whether it be for your backpacking or for your pop-up camper, all right? Because that's going to be a separate issue right there.
Oh, yeah.
But you're going to want to go ahead out there and make sure that you have everything you need, because I'm not going to be always camping beside you for you to be borrowing stuff like you do here at home, okay? So sometimes you're going to be on your own, and I hate to think you're going to be traveling another 30 miles down the road to get something that you really, really need. Anyway, that's going to wrap up today's edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. Always a pleasure to have you along. Daniel, we're going to be doing this great all through 2024.
Yes, sir.
All right, and this is our 11th year of doing the show.
Wow.
How exciting is that? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly as I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. We're on the web there 24/7 at www.happycamperradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on X, and by all means, check out our YouTube channel. This is the place to be. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper. And you better believe it, friends, we're going to make a happy camper out of you. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Happy Camper Radio.
Radio.